Hello, 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 and welcome to the show. It's Wrestling with Entertainment, bringing you the latest exclusive breaking news, previewing and reviewing the latest shows from WWE, AEW, New Japan, and everything in between every Saturday on YouTube and Castbox. Tonight we bring you a special presentation on Sunday. I'm your host, James J., starring Kaliko Yachts, Mitch Mayhem, and actually here, Scooter Dust.
Wubba lubba dub dub.
And we're doing something a little different tonight. We are actually in honor of the 25th anniversary of the first ever In Your House. We are doing our favorite In Your House matches from the 3 years that it was active.
And we will be giving away a house. A dollhouse. But it's a house nonetheless. No.
Dollhouse is Impact. Can't do that. Copyrights. And on this first edition, we will be wrestling with In Your House Final Four, the Final Four match. You're going to want to fire up your WWE Network, your DVD, your VHS, your Betamax, however you prefer to watch it. You want to go to 1 hour, 10 minutes, and 20 seconds into the event, and you're going to pause there. And when I say 3, 2, 1, play, you're going to push the button. Are you ready, Scooter Dust?
Yeah, so just a little interesting fact here. This was, in fact, the first actual in-ring meeting between two superstars that would go on to have a very memorable feud and be a very memorable part of wrestling as a whole, and that, of course, is right before he became The Rock, Rocky Maivia, having just won the Intercontinental Championship from his opponent at this event, defends it against the same guy. That, of course, is Triple H.
Hunter Hearst Helmsley.
He was going. Oh, I don't know. They call him The Rock in the description, but either way,
he was Rocky Maivia here, with the Chia Pet hairdo.
Yes. Interesting thing about this main event.
Well, could you pause for 1 second so we could start the show?
Okay, I just didn't want to. I thought maybe, yeah. Okay.
And 3, 2, 1, play. And you could finish your thought as well.
All right. Interesting thing about this main event. This is coming off of the 1997 Royal Rumble, where it was technically won by Steve Austin, but not really. We're seeing Vader come to the ring. He was one of the final 4 entrants in the 97 Rumble. The WWF at the time, not known for these multi-man matches. These were really WCW's thing up until a certain point later in the year. You see the rules up on screen. This was basically a battle royal with pinfalls or submissions.
Correct. And you're leaving out a big piece of information. The Thursday prior to this, Raw, Thursday Night Raw Thursday, Shawn Michaels relinquished the WWE Championship because he lost his
Lost
smile.
his smile. Well, it was probably on Triple H's butt. So
Mm. And you know, as far as I remember, this match was supposed to be a number one contenders match, but
yes.
yeah, but when Shawn, dropped the title, they only had like 4 days to figure this all out. So they
Well,
just made it for the belt.
it's not really that Sean. Yeah, they had 4 days. This was at the time when Shawn Michaels almost had basic like complete like creative control over who he would defend a title against, and the and if I remember correctly, they wanted WrestleMania 13, the event that would follow after this,
Yeah,
to be Bret Hart and Steve Austin for the title. But then I also heard they wanted Bret and Shawn to have a rematch.
right.
Um,
I think, Shawn losing his smile, that kind of threw everything into whack. Well, you know, obviously they have a plan going from WrestleMania 12 to WrestleMania 13, and you know, literally a month before they were supposed to execute all this, it all goes to hell in a handbasket.
yes, yes. You can get a little bit more of
We think about Undertaker,
information. Uh, see, the the thing is,
young Kevin King.
Undertaker was in almost a bit of almost a career limbo, so to speak. He didn't really have anything going on because he had really finished everything with mankind for the most part until that would be reignited in the Attitude Era.
Right.
Um, so I mean, it's interesting to ponder who really benefited the most from all of this.
I could say easily Stone Cold did. Because let's say Bret Hart was supposed to fight Shawn Michaels at 13 of WrestleMania. Um, one of the greatest wrestling matches of all time, Stone Cold versus Bret Hart, the submission match, never happens. Not to say, Stone Cold wouldn't have been as big as he was, but that's kind of like a turning point in WWE where you say that's when things change. That's when things were starting to look up for them. You kind of know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah, I get that. It's also the consensus by most fans is that Shawn would not drop the belt back to Bret. That he just wouldn't do it. and Sean was on a lot of drugs. He was, he was coming to the tail end of his career at this point, and and here we go.
You have three of the all-time greats and Vader. Love
And
big,
you got
big.
yeah. Uh, the the Undertaker Vader feud, I think, was one of those potential feuds that I think a lot of people wanted to see, and then when it happened, it just kind of didn't deliver.
Right. And that kind of is kind of the story of Vader's WWE career. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah, that's absolutely true.
I mean, he was supposed to go like maybe another 2 months.
Ooh, that look at that
He was
one.
supposed to win the belt off Shawn at Survivor Series, but the SummerSlam match was Shawn just didn't. Shawn didn't like how Vader wrestled, so he.
If you want to see Sean at his worst, watch the SummerSlam '96 main event.
Right.
There was no reason Vader should not have been WWE WWF champion. I and I will say this until the day I die. Shawn Michaels killed Vader's WWE career.
Oh, absolutely. One might say he broke his heart. You know, talking
Big
about
kick there.
Shawn Michaels, that 96 run with him being a babyface, it didn't really hit for me because it seemed just disingenuous. Because, obviously the SummerSlam match, you kind of got to look into how the real Shawn Michaels acted. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah. Uh, not, I mean, not not to mention it was Sean was concussed and would he still be the same and all that crap. Um, you know,
Getting up, beat up
also
by Marines.
part of it I think also has to do with wanting Hulk Hogan at least lower in the WWE record books.
On title reign, right?
In Rumble wins,
Oh, okay.
back to back Rumble wins.
Hulk Hogan won back to back.
Yep.
I
Wait, did
know
he really? Wait, 88? No, yeah, 90 and 91.
Vader's eyes busted open right now. Yeah, that's a nasty cut too. If I'm not
Yeah,
mistaken,
that was,
that's the same eye he had popped out during the match with, I believe, Stan Hansen.
yes, that is, uh, that is true.
How could he even see out of it after all that shit?
Well, that's why you have another one.
Exactly. I mean, PCO only has one eye, and he's a miracle.
Um, Now, almost covered there. I saw Bret Hart and Vader actually wrestle each other at MSG the month prior to this.
Hmm. This was
And yeah,
probably my favorite version of Stone Cold right here. The 96 pre WrestleMania 13 match. This this paid preview took place February 16th, 1997 in Chattanooga, Tennessee at the UTC Arena, and the attendance was 6,399. Considering that this is a great main event with mega superstars, 6,000 and 6,399 doesn't seem like a lot.
yeah. I mean, given the the I mean, if you inflate those numbers to today, it would probably be you know equating to something like that's 20, 24 years, 23 years. Uh, something like 18,000. I mean, you also have to understand that this is only the second time.
Vader just killed that guy.
Yeah. Oh, good God. It was like,
Probably
I
got
want to give you a hug. Um,
Stone.
this was only the second time the WWF had put on a pay-per-view in February. And the idea of using a February pay-per-view to build up to WrestleMania,
Yeah, that was nasty.
which came. Oh, that is disgusting. Uh, and WrestleMania 13 came much earlier in '97.
It was
Uh,
a March one, right?
yeah. It was like I want to say it was almost around St. Patrick's Day. If I may be wrong about that, but
And usually, WrestleMania comes on around on Palm Sunday, which is the first or second week of April.
yep, March 23rd, 1997.
What do you think about the March WrestleManias? I mean, the one that I went to was in March. That was 30, yeah, 31.
I mean that that was like the tail end of March, though.
Yeah,
I mean, so and it, it's a hit or miss. It's almost like the Star Trek theory about the even ones and the odd ones. And there's Sid, who would factor into all of this. Oh, and Vader. We see Vader try to actually do this for like the first time ever. Vader with a sharpshooter.
That is a sight to see. And something that we're completely glossing over, the winner of this match actually, spoiler alert, it's Bret Hart, um, goes on to fight Sid the next
And,
night and actually
and
loses.
and goes on to make history the next night because the night after this event is the first time the WWE Championship ever changed hands on Monday Night Raw.
There's a bit of history for you. Yeah.
All right.
And if you look who, if you look at all three of these guys, Undertaker, Bret Hart, Stone Cold, they all went on to do great things in '97. Undertaker wins the WWE Championship at 13. Bret uh, arguably has the greatest run of his career, and Stone Cold becomes the biggest superstar in the company.
Uh, I I would not say the Undertaker did great things in '97. Uh, the Undertaker, going back to who really benefited from this, you know, the Undertaker essentially fell into the title picture by proxy.
Right. Shawn lost his
And
smile. Bret is whining. Stone Cold's not ready.
but then you have, I mean, eventually you have, Shawn Michaels and Steve Austin, you know, uh, teaming up, essentially finding themselves as allies. Um, and a lot of people tend to forget that Shawn Michaels and Steve Austin actually, uh, you know, main evented King of the Ring '97. Did they? Wait, no, did they? Yeah, because that was supposed to be Bret and Shawn,
But then Bret
and
was
then
injured.
no, Bret. Shawn was gonna give the match to Austin, and then Bret gave his spot to Shawn. It was truly a load of chaos because the Hart Foundation had been established at the time. Uh, um, Also, again, like I said before, we're coming on the tail end of Shawn Michaels' career here. You might remember that aside from Shawn essentially teaming with Austin until 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 September of '97. He would that's when he would wrestle again after the whole Steve Austin Shawn Michaels tag team, and that's when we saw Duke Love come onto the picture.
Right.
And then you have the first ever match between The Undertaker and Shawn Michaels, and then you have Hell in a Cell, and that's where things pick up for The Undertaker, in my opinion. Hell in a Cell, that's where they pick up. Um,
Right. But
uh,
keep in mind that during all this time, Paul Bearer, who is actually managing Vader in this match, that's a little bit of trivia you might not have known. Um, he was teasing the arrival of Kane. So yeah, he wasn't doing a lot, but he had that, there was that little asterisk of when is Kane coming? You know what I mean?
yes, that didn't start to happen though until after WrestleMania, and the fake Diesel Glenn Jacobs was being repackaged yet again.
Right.
Um,
This time it's stuck.
and it's just it's it's really just fascinating to see. I mean,
They would not let
compared
Vader
to
compete in 2020 with that. They would stop the match.
they would definitely stop that. But it's, I mean, compared to what WCW was putting out at the time. I mean, this was after, just after Hogan Piper at Starrcade, and then Hogan Piper at Super Brawl. Um, where, you know, WCW was basically running out of ideas you know, until a scrappy young uh, former pro football Jewish boy named Bill Goldberg showed up. Um,
Probably the only star WCW made.
Sting.
But Sting was establishing Crockett.
Uh,
Oh, and Stone Cold just got eliminated.
yep.
That kind of sucks. He won the Royal Rumble and then he was the first one eliminated.
I mean, technically, he didn't win the Royal Rumble. I mean,
Um, technically he did. The referees didn't see it.
it, like that's as crazy as a Money in the Bank briefcase falling off and falling into somebody else's hands.
Hey, a win is a win however you win it. Probably the last time Vader will. Oh, Sting was splashed by Undertaker. That was unexpected.
Um, the only other memorable thing Vader would do, um, as his career would come to an end, because by April of '98, Vader would be done. Uh, Vader would be the the test opponent for Ken Shamrock,
And I just
and yeah, that's a clip there. And
probably thinking of
Vader, I mean, Vader would be the first person to actually tap out.
it shows you how little of Vader they thought of in '98.
Well, Vader only Vader was done, by um, you know, by WrestleMania 14.
What?
He wasn't on a pay per view after February of '98.
He was basically a jobber at that point. And he came in so strong, attacking Gorilla Monsoon, which was strictly taboo at that point. We're actually going to attempt to superplex Vader here. Is he gonna do it? Shit, he's doing it. Damn.
Oh God! Oh my God! What?
What do you think about the
Absolutely
tear on
unbelievable.
Undertaker's face?
It's that lone teardrop.
Because he cried, because he needs a tattoo of a tear because he can't cry his own?
Oh, I mean that actually that wasn't technically a tattoo. So I
No.
mean,
Austin to kick more ass?
I remember in WCW, I always wanted to see Sid against Vader.
I don't believe WWE did it.
They did. They did it. Uh, before Survivor Series '96.
Hmm.
It was a number one contenders match.
Oh, Undertaker with a low blow, and Vader's out as well. The final two of the final four is Undertaker and Bret Hart.
Oh God! Even the camera's shaking.
Yeah, the crowd seems to be into it. Into it. Some of the other matches on this paid preview: Mark Merrill with Sable defeated Leif Cassidy. You may know him as Al Snow. The Nation of Domination, Cross, Farouk, and Savio Vega defeated Bart Gunn, Flash Funk, and Goldust with Morlina. Rocky Maivia defeated Hunter Hearst Helmsley, as you alluded to earlier, and Doug Furness and Phil LaFon defeated Owen Hart and the British Bulldog by disqualification.
Oh, Doug Furness and Phil LaFon.
A main event anywhere in the world. Vader might be gone, but his blood is still in the ring. That can't. Oh, and Bret Hart won.
And,
A little assist from Stone Cold Steve Austin.
and this would mark Bret's final WWF Championship.
No, he beat
Oh no, I'm
Undertaker
sorry.
at SummerSlam.
I'm an idiot. I'm thinking Undertaker and at SummerSlam.
Interesting that there was pinfalls and submissions and nobody got pinned or submitted.
See that this is why I think that was added after the fact.
Right.
I don't think this was ever intended to have pinfalls or submissions back when it first happened in '97. Now, this essentially, so some might think, is probably what would have been probably the most redundant pay-per-view in in history, considering what happened the next night.
Right.
Like it didn't have to go down this way.
But, it set up Stone Cold and Bret Hart. And to a
Like
degree, Taker and Sid.
you could have had the Undertaker win, and then boom, it's Undertaker Sid already at Mania, and then you get your build up. Instead, the build up for waits another week, and then they essentially do a a WrestleMania 8 like press conference. It's it's a very interesting situation. Everything that came out of this, I find it funny that Shawn Michaels is on the placeholder image on the WWE Network
Right.
for this.
And that was your final four match. Honestly, for what it was a great match. Definitely don't expect Bret Hart winning, knowing what happens at WrestleMania 30, WrestleMania 13, never watching this before. And, that's just a bit of history from In Your House.
Yep, and I mean, next up, what we have you coming down the pike.
Next, as we continue our 25th anniversary In Your House shows, tell everybody next week what we'll be watching.
We will be taking a look at, from the same year, further on, as we get more towards a controversial time in the WWE. This is in the infancy of the Attitude Era. We're going to be taking a look at a somewhat overlooked match at by most from In Your House Ground Zero, as Bret Hart defends the WWF Championship against the Patriot.
Can't wait to cover that next week. If you like the show, please like, subscribe, comment, and you can join the conversation on Twitter. You can find me at JamesJ993. Where can they find Scooter Dust?
As always, find me at Scooter Dust, and when I feel like it, at UNBS Wrestling.
For Kaliko Yachts, Mitch Mayhem, Scooter Dust, I'm James J, and this has been Wrestling with Entertainment.